Welcome back and hello if you're new. Following their incendiary 2012 release Book Burner, Pig Destroyer have at very last come out of their cryostasis in 2018, and I can assure you that this one was worth the wait. Bringing their raucous, deranged and absolute sonic violence to us once more, Pig Destroyer have returned in 2018 with a potential album of the year in the form of Head Cage. So for long-time fans, the most notable addition in Head Cage is the fact that Pig Destroyer now finally have a bassist. Though it could be argued that their iconic and incredibly visceral sound was enhanced by the lack of bass, it makes such a welcome difference and overall just adds another string to their sonic bow, if I'm being honest. However, with the inclusion of the bass, the band creates some incredibly beefed up riffs, and you can see it from the word go on the album. For example, on the last song, the groove may come in, but it does focus on the bass guitar. And then most evidently, you've got Army of Cops, which again has this massive groove to it. And for example, in Circle River, there's a huge amount of groove on the intro and the main sort of verse there. And I mean, don't even get me started on Torture Fields. Torture Fields is without a doubt one of my favourite Pig Destroyer songs they've ever released. It combines so many different elements that are just absolutely fantastic in their catalogue. However, just as much as bass guitar may enhance the band's overall sound, it's always been the performance of one Adam Jarvis that is absolutely essential. And honestly, I think one of the reasons that Pig Destroyer are such a vital force in the grindcore arena. For example, the Torture Fields, whose slow introduction is led by the versatility of Jarvis's fills. Given the fact that grindcore is incredibly intense, Pig Destroyer not only make the most of their sound, but the time that's in there, every single nuance is individually looked at, and Adam Jarvis is a fantastic example of these dynamics that he's put into that. Jarvis also, as much as he may be flight-footed, the sheer ferocity that the man retains behind the kit couldn't be questioned. For example, on the end of Dark Train, the band just coalesce to become that monster that Pig Destroyer always threatened to be at the beginning of a song. And for example, there's some absolutely amazing transitions on Circle River. There's also some fantastic fills that are in Trapdoor Man as well. Part of what separates Pig Destroyer from their counterparts is their almost innate understanding of dynamics. Knowing when to add a guitar riff or to take something away, adding a simple cymbal, a splash here, a ride there. All of these make a difference in heightening the band's unmistakable tension. And it's here that Pig Destroyer are able to do so much with so little. Really, if you think about the bare bones of a grindcore song, there is not much room to mess about with. So every single second has to be calculated and used to the utmost devastating effect. And Head Cage sees this idea pushed to the very limit. In Army of Cops, there's a fantastic example of Jarvis's drumming where there's a really small change, and you've got the first section and then the second section where there's this added cymbal sound. It heightens this sense of urgency that the band have got in them. However, yet another hallmark of Pig Destroyer is that absolutely massive breakdown. As much as the breakdown is incredibly important, it's all about the build-up to it. So for example, in Army of Cops, you've got that really dissonant sound before it goes into that boom. Or in Mount Skull as well, before that huge breakdown. But again, I'm going to go on about it, it's the Torture Fields. I remember listening to this album on the tube and just having my mouth wide open and just thinking, wow, these breakdowns are absolutely incredible. However, despite the addition of bass and this overall beefed up sound, there is still the grindcore that we love about Pig Destroyer. So for example, Terminal Itch has got those kind of spastic qualities, and the adventures of Jason and JR, since day one, it has always been there, but it's just evolving. But what really won me over about this album is the experimental nature of the latter half of the record. You know, the album is 33 minutes long, and the band finish on House of Snakes, which is a 7-minute grind song. Bear in mind, a 7-minute grind song is the equivalent of like a Dream Theater 20-minute epic here. The bands take elements from everything that they've done, for example, on Mass and Volume. There's doom elements on Concrete Beast, for example. And for example, there are these weird descending harmonies, which for me is entirely new to hear on Pig Destroyer. But on House of Snakes, it opens up with this almost like Metallica battery style harmony. And then later on in the track, there's a sort of Arabian tinged lead riff and this weird kind of dissonant, almost, it reminded me a little bit of Korn's Blind, you know, that type riff. But then it's just unmistakably Pig Destroyer, you know, it's not Pig Destroyer trying to sound like Korn. But as ever, of course, the lyrics are absolutely fantastic as well. J.R. Hayes does an absolutely sensational job. Again, he's got such a large amount to say within a small amount of time, and every single time his lyrics are absolutely beautiful. From the intro of The Tunnel Between the Tracks, there's this kind of like dissonant noise that comes in, and then, you know, on Army of Cops, on The Torture Fields, all of these sort of sections retains that harsh, abrasive nature of Pig Destroyer, but doesn't become overbearing. These really small things that Pig Destroyer have all put together to make a record that's 30 minutes long that you will just go back to again and again and again and again and again. In terms of the negatives, I really can't find too many negatives. The production is absolutely solid from Scott Hull. The only thing I would say, maybe if I wanted to be nitpicky, is that the beginning of House of Snakes sounds a little similar to one of the Master of Puppets songs, but that's it. The artwork was created by Mark McCoy, who you may recognise from Full of Hell's Trumpeting Ecstasy, and I personally wasn't a massive fan of it when I first saw it, but it's really, really grown on me now. It does have this metallic nature to it, and it is incredibly unforgiving. It's precisely the understanding of exactly what makes Pig Destroyer tick, but with the addition of these new and more experimental elements that make Headcage such a fantastic and engrossing listen. It's simultaneously pushing their iconic sound into new boundaries, yet remaining quintessentially Pig Destroyer. There is no competition. When it comes to Pig Destroyer, they are at the apex of grind. And for that reason, I'm giving this record a 5 out of 5. Pig Destroyer's brand new album, Headcage, is set for a 7th of September release via Relapse Records, and you can pre-order it right underneath me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Please make sure to check out my Apocalyptic Anniversary series over on Metal Sucks as well. I've got plenty of interviews, album reviews, and all sorts of stuff on this channel. Drop a comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys next week for another album review. Alright, take it easy.